in a video called like Exposing the Lies. I included him admitting to it but blaming it on drugs. I included the CPS documents, and I also talked about why my child was granted on the restraining order. If you want to go watch that, you can. In his comments, he said that he never abused me. He just threw his phone at me, which is still abuse. And I wish I had the pictures that the police took. I'm sure I can find them somewhere, or I'm sure there's probably a website where they're available to the public. But I had a big old goose egg on my head. So I would say that's abuse, and I feel like everybody else would too. But also that was not the only incident. 2018, I got a restraining order on him for slapping me, and I will admit that that wasn't my idea. It was my parents trying to protect me, but that was granted because he admitted it to the judge. Yeah, I slapped her, but I was drinking. So there's that. Also, another public one that he could just look up if he wanted to, is the one after the phone throwing. He also threw something else at me, and I called the police again, which is why there's a police report. Also pictures taken, and he had court for that as well. Also, I am not the only victim of his. I feel like he forgets breaking Morgan's teeth and leaving bruises on her arm. So I feel like he just forgets that. He also claims that he has been sober since September of 2020, which he has lied about that date, the date of sobriety, so many times. And I go into a lot of this in my Exposing the Lies video, with all of the dates of him like changing it so many times. But also, if that were true, why were you arrested in February of, last month? Why were you arrested last month for drug use? The next claim I want to address is him saying I was hiding from him. Contrary to your belief, I am not scared of you. Your record is as long as freaking Walgreens receipt. I think I'll be fine. But a court person who serves papers showed up to my parents' house, and my dad answered the door, and they said, "Does Chloe Mendoza live here?" And I did not live there. I did not live with my parents. So he said no. And we didn't even know what it was for. So we weren't hiding from him. I didn't live there. And it's kind of hard to serve someone when you don't have their address. So yeah, the judge was right. You should have done it in an email, which eventually ended up happening. But yeah, I wasn't hiding from you. He also wants to say that I didn't show up for court, which is really funny because he has his court cases confused, which is understandable because he always has so many. The custody thing never went to court. Let me tell you what happened. He did file for custody. In his file thing that his attorneys sent to me, there was lots of lies saying that there's never been a history of domestic violence between me and him. He's never had substance abuse problems, which is so crazy to lie about on a legal document when there's other legal documents saying the complete opposite. So I got with my person and we responded and said, no, there actually was domestic violence and substance abuse problems. Like, this whole thing's a lie. And then I got a letter in the mail from his attorney saying that they were withdrawing from counsel. And this is all public too. Like, if you look up the court case, his lawyers, whatever, withdrew from counsel. So, and then the court case got put on the inactive calendar because nothing was happening with it. He wasn't doing anything further, and I definitely am not going to do anything further with that. So it got put on the inactive calendar, which you can see, and then he filed for it because it was going to get dismissed. So he filed for it to continue on the inactive calendar, implying that he was going to do something, and he never did. It never went to court where it was me and him and we were talking about custody. That never happened. What he is mixing it up with is when he took me to court to try and get my child off of the restraining order and have it just be me. That is the only time I have ever been in a courtroom with him. And that was before he filed for custody. So he's mixing those up. So yeah, we went to court for trying to get my child off the restraining order. And of course the judge denied it because he is a rule breaker, like doesn't like to follow the laws, and broke the rules of the restraining order so many times. And I had the documentation from CPS saying that he is not good to be around her. So yeah, that's what he's confusing it with. We never went to court for custody though, so I don't know what he's talking about with me missing court. If I were to miss a court date, the judge would find me in contempt of court and would rule in his favor. So I would obviously never do that, which is so crazy because you would think he knows all of this information considering how much he misses his court dates, because there was a warrant on him last month for not showing up to court. Again, all public information.